What is the difference between reach and impressions? In this video, I'm going to teach you what the difference is between reach and impressions, whether it's on Facebook, on Twitter, it doesn't matter the platform. And I'm going to dive into an actual real-life example of one of our clients and how that number can impact your strategy.
There are so many things I can't control, but the things that I can. The Dick Polipnik Show.
So what is reach and what are impressions and how are they different? So reach in social media is how many people have seen your post at least once. So reach is a term of number of people. Keep that in mind. Write that down. Reach is number of people. Impressions are how many times eyeballs have seen it at all. So what the main difference is, the same people who saw it in the number that is calculated as reach can see it multiple times, and that's the number that is impressions. So you could be an individual. Let's say Bob. Bob saw your advertisement one time. He would be counted towards the reach. But let's say that Bob saw you did a retargeting campaign because you want to either upsell him more products, he left an abandoned cart in your online store, doesn't matter. So what those numbers are is impressions, because it's the same person who saw the same ad or different ads multiple times. So that's a really good thing that social media companies are providing those numbers, because you don't want to really just measure how many people are seeing it. You want to know how many times it takes them to see an ad for them to get results. You want to know how many times you have to hit them up. It's just like a cold call. You know, how many times you have to do a follow-up email, a follow-up cold call to close the sale. Same thing with social media, except with cold calling and emailing, instead it's posts, it's advertisements, it's organic reach, it's a tweet, it's a video. It doesn't matter. How many times do they have to see that before they close a sale, that they become a customer, they like your page, they subscribe to your YouTube channel, whatever your objective is. So that's the main difference between reach and impressions, is impressions can be multiple times of views from the same individual. So a good number to remember is, a good target is 4 to 1. So usually if you have 4 times the amount of impressions as you do reach, that means somebody sees your ad 4 times. That means, the same group of people in your reach count multiplied by 4, that's what your impressions number is. So that's usually a good number. If you're 4 or lower and they're closing a sale, they're becoming a subscriber, they're liking your page, whatever your objective is, you know that you're doing a good job. So that's a good question to ask your social media agency or your employee that you're looking at hiring if you're doing an interview for your own company, is you say, okay, how many times do you think you have to hit someone up, or they have to see an ad before they close, before they reach our objective, whatever it is. And if they say, oh yeah, it's 20 times, then you know that they're pretty bad at what they do. But I mean, that could depend on the industry. I mean, if you're a lawyer or something and they've already got somebody hired, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's going to take a lot more for them to convince them to switch, you know what I mean? So it's going to depend on the industry. But for a good number for like retail, online stores, whether your subscription service, etc., is 4 to 1. Those are really good numbers. So if you can hear anybody like that, then you know that you've got a keeper. So let's dive right into a real life example of how our company has worked with one of our clients in the number of reach versus impressions and how they affect our strategy. Okay, so we're blurring out some stuff because we just want to have the privacy of the client. But the main thing that we're looking at is right here where my mouse is. So these right here, you can see reach. So if you scroll to the bottom, we have 46,000, almost 47,000 people. Do you see how it says people as the metric there? That means, and this is, by the way, this is measured March 1st through March 14th. So this is about half of a month's worth. So in the last 2 weeks, we have reached 47,000 people. Now you look over here, we have 200,000, but see how the metric says total, not people. So that's impressions. So 200,000 impressions total. Reach 46,000 people, which means that our ad was seen a little less than four times per person. This is all paid stuff, by the way. We're in the business.facebook.com back office of a Facebook campaign. When you look at those numbers, that's less than 4. That's pretty good. Those are really good numbers. But this is an online clothing store, so we're expecting the number to be less because they can perform a transaction all on their mobile device. If you're doing a business where they have to call in, make an appointment, sit down, go over their financial statements. If you're a whatever, that's obviously going to be a couple more times. It's going to take them longer to close a deal because there's an interviewing process or a face-to-face meeting that needs to take place versus this transaction can happen right on your phone. Pretty cool. Yes, you can automate those face-to-face transactions on within social media, but that's content for another video, whether you're using automatic scheduling, FaceTime video, conferences, whatever your agency or your employee that's doing social media marketing for you, you can optimize that, but check out a different video. So that is essentially the difference between reach and impressions, and you can see here the numbers. That's how you measure it. But how does that affect our strategy? So our strategy, we look at those numbers and we can actually divide it. So these are just the totals. So what we do is we look through all these, each line here is a different ad, a different campaign. So we can scroll through this. And we can look at the different numbers. We can see, okay, reach here, impressions were about the same as reach here. So depending on, see now this had 16 link clicks, which means that's kind of what we're measuring right now. So here you're looking at, we have 2,000 impressions. That was about the same. Let's try to find one that's a little different. Here, this one's a little different. Okay, so this one had about 8,000 people reached 11,000 impressions, which means they saw it maybe 1.5 times, right? So, and we only spent $100 on it, and we had 159 link clicks. So what does that tell us? That means that they're only seeing this 1.5 times. That's really good results, especially when we're getting 159 link clicks and we're only spending that much money. So what we'll do is we will do more of those ads. We'll analyze that post. Say, was it the colors we used in the graphic? Was it the call to action we used in the description? Was it the button that we were using? Was it the actual product, or was there a certain percentage off? Was there a dollar amount? Was there a coupon code? And we'll analyze what we did in that exact post and try to duplicate that in future posts. That's why the best social media agency companies, they'll actually improve their return on investment for you over time because they can analyze their own results, capitalize on it, and reproduce it. So that's how you can use reach and impressions to calculate what is working, what is not, because the less time somebody has to see something before they buy it means it's a better ad. You did whatever it is that you did differently, it's performing better, aka getting more bang for your buck, getting a better return on your investment. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you checking out the tutorial or the explaining video, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, let's delete that. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one.
I come from a town where most of the people are so close-minded. They go into school and they work in a job, but they don't even like it. I won't be put in a box. Nobody telling me what I should rock. Nobody telling me what I should drop, cause I do what I want and just know I don't stop. Recording till 4 in the morning, they snoring. I'm pouring my soul into every story. I'm writing, producing, I mix it, I master. I'm building my craft and I'm not looking back. I've been going doing things I want to do when I want to.